Dr. Elena Rice stared at her monitor, the blue light reflecting off her third cup of coffee. 72 hours without proper sleep, and the data still made no sense. Outside the observatory dome, the Atacama Desert stretched beneath one of Earth's clearest night skies. Inside, Elena's funding was evaporating faster than morning dew. ASTRI, run spectral analysis again. Focus on Proxima Centauri's radiation patterns. Her eye assistant's holographic display flickered. Analysis complete, Dr. Reyes. Anomaly confirmed for the 17th consecutive night. Elena rubbed her temples. Stars didn't behave this way, pulsating in sequences that resembled encoded information rather than natural phenomena. She cross-referenced with every known stellar event. Nova, flares, even theoretical models of neutron star oscillations. Nothing matched. You should forward findings to Director Patel, ASTRI suggested, so he can pull my project funding even faster. No thanks. Elena swiped through visualization models. He already thinks I'm chasing cosmic ghosts. Her terminal chimed with an incoming message from the European Southern Observatory. Similar anomalies detected in Alpha Centauri, Sirius, and 6 other systems, requesting data comparison. Elena straightened. Not equipment malfunction. Then, she reached for her neural pattern analyzer, a side project she'd developed for measuring brainwave entrainment to astronomical cycles. On impulse, she fed the stellar pulsation data into it. The match was immediate and unsettling. 91% correlation with human REM sleep patterns. That's impossible, she whispered, running the comparison 3 more times. The observatory doors hissed open. Elena quickly minimized her screens. Still wasting resources on your pet project. The voice belonged to Dr. Valentin, the facility's senior astronomer. Just finishing up, Elena replied, not turning around. Good. Director wants this telescope recalibrated for the exoplanet survey. Real science, Elena. The door closed behind him. Elena reopened her analysis and frowned at a new notification from ASTRA. 3 additional star systems exhibiting pattern. Intensity increasing by 12% hourly. She transferred the data to the audio converter, another unofficial project. The algorithm transformed stellar radiation patterns into sound waves. What emerged from the speakers wasn't random noise. It was structured with rhythm and modulation. It sounded like screaming. Elena dropped her coffee mug. It shattered across the floor as a military transport helicopter descended outside, kicking up dust against the observatory windows. Her phone buzzed with a message. Need to see you. Now. David. Her brother. Colonel David Reyes, whom she hadn't spoken to in 3 years, not since their father's funeral and their fight about her wasting her talents on stars instead of national security. Elena's terminal flashed with alerts as other observatories worldwide began detecting the patterns. ASTRI, compile all data and secure it to my private server. Security cameras showed David striding through the main entrance, flanked by 2 officers carrying classified briefcases. Elena quickly saved her findings, then noticed something she'd missed. When overlaid, the patterns from all affected stars formed a geometric configuration, one that precisely matched ancient cave paintings found on 6 continents. Her eyelids grew impossibly heavy as exhaustion finally overcame her. As consciousness slipped away, the star patterns on her screen seemed to pulse in time with her heartbeat. In her dream, she stood on an endless plain of white sand beneath a sky filled with stars that had faces. A figure approached, its body composed entirely of burning light. "They hunt us," it whispered in a voice like solar flares. "Only you see them. The darkness between. Help us." The burning figure reached toward her. Elena jolted awake to alarms blaring throughout the facility. Every screen showed the same message. Global astronomical emergency. Unknown transmission TTTT'd. Her brother stood at the doorway, face grim. "So," he said, "you've heard them too. 38 observatories, 6 space telescopes, all reporting the same patterns. David spread classified photos across Elena's desk. This is why I'm here. Elena studied the images, her hands trembling. How long has the military known? 3 weeks. It started with a single pulsar. We thought it was a foreign power's encrypted communication. David's expression hardened. Until the dreams started. Dreams? Sleep labs across every military branch reported identical anomalies. Personnel describing conversations with burning entities. We classified it as mass psychosis until... He pulled out a tablet showing brain scans. We found these patterns matching the stellar pulses. Outside the observatory, additional helicopters landed. Elena glanced at security feeds showing hazmat teams establishing a perimeter. You're quarantining us. Protecting the facility. The transmission leaked online an hour ago. Elena's phone buzzed with notifications. Global astronomy forums exploded with amateur astronomers reporting the signals. Show me everything, she demanded. David hesitated, then slid over a classified dossier. Project Stargazer. We've been monitoring dream patterns globally for decades. Last night, simultaneous REM state events spiked worldwide. Elena scanned the report, blood running cold. These neural patterns, they're exactly what I found in the stellar signals. Her office door burst open. Dr. Kamandungu, the neurologist who occasionally collaborated with the observatory, rushed in waving his tablet. Elena, you won't believe. He stopped, noticing David's uniform. Sorry, I didn't realize. It's okay, Elena said. My brother knows. What have you found? Kamau's eyes widened at brother, but he continued. My sleep study participants all reported identical dreams last night. Stars speaking to them. I've got EEG readings that perfectly match. The stellar oscillations. Elena finished. Yes. How did you? A technician burst into the room. Dr. Reyes. The recording. It's gone viral. Hashtag Star Voices is trending globally. David swore. What recording? Elena winced. I converted the patterns to audio yesterday. Someone must have leaked it. Her computer chimed with an incoming video call from Maya Chen, a quantum physicist whose theories about consciousness as a fundamental force had made her a pariah in traditional scientific circles. Elena, tell me you're seeing this. Maya's face filled the screen, excitement overriding her usual caution. The stellar signals. They're quantum entangled, not just with each other, but with specific human brain patterns. This proves my consciousness field theory. Dr. Chen, David cut in. This is a classified matter now. Maya snorted. Too late. Check social media. Elena pulled up her feeds. Videos flooded in from across the globe. People filming the night sky while playing the converted audio, claiming stars brightened in response. Hashtags hashtag cosmic conversation and hashtag star whisperers dominated platforms. It's mass hysteria, David muttered. Elena's phone rang. Tariq Al-Farsi, a literature professor she'd consulted about ancient astronomical texts. Elena, he said without preamble, the patterns match something. Ancient Sumerian star hymns, Egyptian celestial texts, Aboriginal Dreamtime stories. They all describe voices from the burning ones with identical symbology. The facility lights flickered. Outside, a brilliant aurora suddenly illuminated the night sky. Impossible at this latitude. That's not northern lights, Kamal whispered. Elena's monitor displayed an incoming transmission directly from the Hubble Space Telescope. The Pleiades cluster was visibly dimming, darkness spreading between the stars like ink in water. We need a team, Elena said, decision crystallizing. Kamal's dream-sharing technology, Maya's quantum consciousness theories, Tariq's historical knowledge. This is a military matter, David objected. The lights failed completely. Emergency generators kicked in, bathing the room in red. Every electronic device simultaneously displayed the same message in ancient Sumerian cuneiform, then modern languages. The hunters come. Your Duriams R-E-O-U-R-O-N-L-O-P. Elena turned to her brother. Still think it's hysteria. In the sky above, visible through the observatory dome, stars flickered like desperate signal fires. 48 hours later, Elena's observatory had transformed into an impromptu command center. Military personnel shared space with scientists from a dozen disciplines as screens displayed incoming data from global astronomical stations. 7 more star systems have gone dark, Maya reported, pointing to a holographic map. Whatever's consuming them is accelerating. Elena studied the global response dashboard. The Stargazer Protocol, her hastily assembled citizen science initiative, had collected over 3 million dream reports. Their algorithm identified recurring patterns, burning entities pleading for help, shadowy tendrils between stars, and specific individuals receiving detailed messages. We've identified 57 primary receptors, Kamau explained to the assembled team. People whose brain patterns match the stellar signals with over 90% resonance. And where are these chosen ones? General Winters asked, her skepticism evident despite the presidential authorization in her pocket. Tariq brought up a world map with glowing markers. Everywhere. The stars don't care about national borders or strategic interests. Video interviews played on surrounding screens, ordinary people describing extraordinary connections. A Ukrainian mechanic, Oleksandr Kozak, whose hands trembled as he displayed blueprints. The stars showed me how to rebuild our power grid after the shelling. These designs, I don't understand them, but they work. Lucia Silva, a street artist from Rio, whose murals precisely depicted stellar phenomena across favela walls. I've been painting them since I was 6. I thought they were just pretty lights. Hiroshi Tanaka, an elderly Japanese gardener demonstrating meditation techniques. The quiet ones between stars speak clearest. They hide from the shadow eaters. Elena felt a chill watching these strangers describe experiences matching her own dreams. David entered with fresh intelligence. NASA confirms it. There's something affecting our sun. Coronagraph images show anomalies. The images revealed wispy dark structures surrounding the sun, visible only in specific wavelengths. We need these people, Elena insisted. All of them. General Winters nodded curtly. Transport is arranged to the Antarctic facility, but I need proof this isn't mass delusion. The facility lights flickered again, now a familiar prelude to contact. Everyone stilled as screens displayed new stellar data. The Pleiades cluster pulsed in a complex sequence. It's a location, Maya whispered, decoding the quantum patterns. Coordinates. Kama pointed to his neural interface prototype. We need to see what they're showing us. Too dangerous, David objected. We don't know. I'll do it, Elena interrupted, already attaching the neural sensors. The interface activated. Elena's consciousness expanded beyond the room, beyond Earth. She found herself, or some version of herself, floating in stellar plasma. The burning entity she'd first dreamed of surrounded her. They feed on patterns. It communicated directly into her mind. Stars are perfect patterns. Fusion equations repeated billions of years. They consume our light, our life. Elena witnessed a stellar massacre. Shadow predators wrapping around stars, draining their energy into endless hunger. Humans are different, the star continued. Unpredictable. Creative. Your thoughts change constantly. Toxic to them. Why contact us now? Elena asked into the void. They've never been so many. Something drives them from galactic core. Your sun protected you, hid you, but cannot hold much longer. The connection suddenly splintered. Elena's consciousness snapped back as the building's power failed completely. She gasped awake to emergency lighting and alarms. What happened? David demanded. They're coming, Elena whispered, nose bleeding from neural strain. We have 7 days before they reach our sun. Outside, northern lights appeared in the southern sky. Impossible aurora bathing everything in ghostly green. General Winters spoke into her secure line. Initiate Protocol Sunshield. Authorization Sierra 7. The countdown had begun. Antarctica's research station Polaris 9 had never been on any official map. Built beneath the ice, its geothermal generators powered Maya's consciousness amplification chamber, a 20-foot sphere lined with quantum resonators. It's not designed for multiple users, Maya cautioned as technicians prepared the 7 primary receptors. Elena watched through observation glass as Alexander, Lucia, Hiroshi, and 4 others from different continents were fitted with neural interfaces. All had arrived within 12 hours of identification, some voluntarily, others strongly encouraged by their governments. The sun's corona is showing increasing disturbance patterns, David reported, displaying satellite imagery. NASA estimates 26% energy reduction if current trends continue. Tariq joined them, archaeological tablets under his arm. I've cross-referenced the stellar communications with ancient texts. This isn't the first incursion. There are accounts from Babylon, Maya, and Zhou dynasty, astronomers describing sky shadows followed by solar dimming. How did humanity survive before? General Winters asked. Tariq's expression darkened. Most civilizations didn't. These events correlate with major collapses throughout history. Inside the chamber, Kamau administered final calibrations. Neural synchronization at 82%. We're ready. Elena took her position among the chosen. Despite her scientific skepticism, terror gripped her, not of the unknown, but of failure. 6 billion lives depended on understanding the incomprehensible. Initiating consciousness projection in 3, 2, 1. The chamber hummed. Reality dissolved. Elena experienced simultaneous existence in multiple places. Her physical body remained in Antarctica, while her consciousness expanded outward at impossible speed. The others traveled with her, not as bodies but as distinct thought patterns swirling together. They'd breach Earth's atmosphere, past the moon, and accelerated toward a presence that could only be the burning heart, the star that had first contacted Elena. Welcome, brief ones, it communicated. Not words, but pure meaning. The star's consciousness engulfed them, ancient beyond comprehension, yet somehow familiar. Elena perceived its thoughts not as language, but as mathematical certainties, fusion reactions sustaining awareness across billions of years. Memories cascaded through her. Earth forming, dinosaurs evolving and dying, human ancestors gazing upward. The star had been watching, always. See what comes, the burning heart projected. Their shared perception shifted toward Earth's sun. Massive tendrils of anti-light wrapped around its corona. Parasitic entities siphoning energy through higher dimensional apertures. Void weavers, the star explained. Once stellar beings like us, evolved to consume rather than create, found efficiency in predation. Elena felt the sun's pain, a slow, ancient agony of being devoured. Yet within that suffering lay determination to protect the small blue world it had nurtured. How do we fight them? Elena asked. The star showed them. Human consciousness operated on frequencies that disrupted the Void Weaver's feeding process. Creativity, emotion, dreams. These chaotic patterns were poisonous to entities evolved to consume mathematical perfection. Your son has been fighting alone, the burning heart revealed, sacrificing its lifespan to hide you. Now too weak. Suddenly, their connection trembled. Something vast had noticed their presence, a predatory awareness turning toward their mental link. It comes. The star's panic flooded them. Their perceptions fractured. Elena glimpsed cosmic horror, a void entity larger than worlds, composed of stolen starlight corrupted into hungering darkness. The connection shattered. Elena convulsed awake in the chamber, blood streaming from her ears. The others seized similarly, neural interfaces smoking. What happened? David demanded, rushing in with medical teams. It saw us, Elena gasped. And now it's coming for us specifically. Above Antarctica's perpetual night, stars began blinking out one by one. Theoretical physics never accounted for consciousness as a fundamental force. Maya explained. guiding Elena through the prototype dream ship hangar. Until now, the vessel resembled nothing like conventional spacecraft, a spherical chamber surrounded by interlocking rings of quantum-entangled particles. No engines, no life support, no radiation shielding. How does it move? Elena asked, touching the smooth outer shell. It doesn't. Not physically. Maya's eyes gleamed with the fervor of vindication after years of academic ridicule. Your consciousness creates a quantum bridge between points in spacetime, guided by stellar navigational nodes. Across the hangar, technicians prepared the chosen seven for departure. Medical staff administered final neural enhancers while military personnel loaded emergency supplies, though Maya insisted physical provisions were largely symbolic. The solar degradation has accelerated, David reported, showing Elena the latest data. Global weather patterns have begun to destabilize as the sun's output fluctuated, 10% energy reduction in 36 hours. At this rate, he didn't need to finish. Civilization as they knew it had days, not weeks. Elena studied the neural interface crown she would wear, far more sophisticated than the prototype that had nearly killed them during first contact. The Pleiades first, she decided. The stars there still have enough energy to help us understand how to fight back. Kamau approached, his usual confident demeanor subdued. Neural limiters are installed. They should prevent the sensory overload you experienced before, but he hesitated. This journey will change you. All of you. Human consciousness wasn't designed to expand across light years. Neither was it designed for extinction, Lucia remarked, inspecting her interface. The Brazilian artist had adorned hers with intricate patterns matching her star-inspired murals. Alexander knelt beside the vessel, running his hands over connections only he seemed to understand. The translation matrix needs reinforcement, he muttered, making adjustments no engineer had authorized. Hiroshi sat in meditation nearby, eyes closed. The paths between stars are old, he said without opening his eyes. They remember when matter flowed like water. We must flow similarly. Final preparations completed in grim silence. Earth's atmosphere had begun displaying unprecedented aurora effects, visible even at the equator. The sun's magnetic field destabilizing as void weavers fed. The seven took their positions within the dream ship's central chamber, arranged in a circle facing inward. Neural interfaces synchronized with quantum harmonics as Maya initiated the launch sequence. Remember, she instructed through their comms, your consciousness creates the path. Stay connected to each other. The stars will guide you. The chamber sealed. Energy hummed through the vessel. Consciousness projection in 3, 2, 1. Reality inverted. Elena experienced existence as pure information, flowing through cosmic currents invisible to conventional physics. The others manifested as distinct thought patterns. Lucia's artistic perception, rendered in synesthetic colors. Alexander's mechanical precision structured like architectural blueprints. Hiroshi's ancient patience spiraling like DNA. They traversed the uncharted spaces between conventional dimensions, guided by stellar beacons pulsing through quantum foam. This way, the burning heart directed, its presence diminished but determined. Follow the light rivers. They encountered wonders beyond comprehension, fossilized thoughts of long-dead stars, the crystallized mathematics of supernova births, memory structures recording the universe's earliest moments. But darkness lurked between these wonders, void spaces where stars had been consumed, leaving psychic scars in reality itself. Midway to the Pleiades, disaster struck. Their quantum path collapsed, consciousness fragments scattering across dimensional boundaries. We're losing coherence, Elena called into the void. Something's blocking the stellar navigation nodes. Lucia's consciousness flared in response. They've consumed the waypoint stars. We need a new path. In desperation, Elena reached for the others. Create. That's our weapon, human creativity. Make something new. Together, they generated a reality bridge, Alexander designing impossible structures, Lucia painting with raw thought, Hiroshi cultivating gardens of quantum probability, all underscored by Alina's scientific framework. The Pleiades materialized before them. Once 7 bright sisters, now 4, with darkness consuming the 5th. And wrapped around the dying star, they saw it clearly. A void weaver the size of Jupiter, its anti-light tendrils pulsing with stolen stellar energy. It sensed them immediately and turned its ancient hunger toward something new. The first battle for the stars was about to begin. The void weaver uncoiled from the dying star like liquid shadow, its form defying conventional physics. No eyes, no mouth, yet Alina felt its hunger assessment. Predator recognizing new prey. It feeds on patterns, Alina reminded the others through their consciousness link. Stars are perfect patterns, fusion equations repeated for billions of years. Then we must be chaos, Lucia replied, her artist's mind already weaving unpredictable fractals. The dying star, first dancer as it called itself, pulsed weakly, its once brilliant hydrogen fusion stuttering beneath the weaver's grasp. Help, please. The weaver struck first. Tendrils of anti-light lashed toward their consciousness projection, attempting to ensnare their thought patterns. Where it touched, it extracted, pulling memories, knowledge, identity. Alexander's consciousness fractured forward. The Ukrainian's mind, shaped by years rebuilding what war destroyed, constructed countermeasures, neural pathways that reconfigured randomly, machinery of thought that refused to maintain a single pattern. Like fixing power grid in Kharkiv, his thoughts projected. Always changing solution when enemy expects pattern. The weaver recoiled momentarily, confused by structures that transformed as it tried to consume them. Lucia seized the opening. Her consciousness exploded with color innovations beyond human visual spectrum. Art that existed only as conceptual mathematics, beauty that reconfigured itself with each perception attempt. The weaver's feeding tendrils spasmed in something resembling pain. It can't digest what it can't understand, she called out. Hiroshi's consciousness moved differently, not attacking but dancing between the weaver's attempts to grasp it. The old gardener's lifetime of meditation had prepared him for this impossible battle. Like water around stone, he projected, never force against force. Find spaces between its hunger. Alina observed their tactics, scientific mind analyzing the weaver's responses. It adapted quickly, learning to anticipate their unpredictability. Each human defense worked briefly before the entity incorporated countermeasures. First dancer weakened further, its stellar core fluctuating dangerously. We need to connect our approaches, Alina realized. Not just individual chaos, coordinated unpredictability. She reached for the others, creating a framework where their unique defenses interlocked without becoming predictable. Alexander's mechanical reconfigurations powered by Lucia's artistic innovations, deployed through Hiroshi's philosophical flow, all guided by Alina's scientific insight. The weaver hesitated, confronted with a defense it couldn't categorize. Its feeding tendrils withdrew partially from first dancer. For a moment, victory seemed possible. Then the weaver changed tactics. Rather than attempting to consume their patterns, it projected its own, the distilled suffering of thousands of consumed stars, mathematically perfect agony that overwhelmed human consciousness. Tarek, whose literary mind cataloged suffering throughout human history, broke formation first. His consciousness fragmenting as the weaver pulled him toward its core. It's showing me everything it's devoured. He screamed through the link. Every star's death. Without thinking, Alina launched her consciousness after him, diving toward the weaver's center. The others called out warnings, but she pushed deeper, following Tarek's dissolution trail. Inside the weaver's core, Alina discovered not just hunger but memory. The entity recorded everything it consumed, and within those records, she glimpsed something unexpected. Fear. The weavers feared something coming from the galactic core, something that hunted them as they hunted stars. Alina grabbed Tarek's fragmenting consciousness and pulled back, transmitting to the others. They're running from something worse. That's why they're consuming stars so rapidly. building energy reserves. The revelation disrupted their defense. The weavers surged forward again, wrapping First Dancer in renewed feeding tendrils. The star's voice reached them one final time. "Tell the others. The network. They communicate." First Dancer collapsed into darkness. The weaver, newly strengthened, turned its full attention toward the human interlopers. And behind it, in the quantum vibrations between stars, Alina sensed thousands more weavers awaken. "We have 48 hours before total solar compromise," General Winters announced to the Crisis Council. Projection screens displayed cascading climate effects, unprecedented storm systems, grid failures across 3 continents, global temperature dropping. Alina's team had returned to Earth physically unchanged but mentally transformed. Neural scans showed permanent alterations to their brain architecture, human minds partially rewritten by stellar contact. First Dancer's final message was about their network, Alina explained, her voice hollow from the star's loss. The Void Weavers communicate instantaneously across vast distances. That's how they coordinate their feeding. Maya gestured to the prototype consciousness amplification chambers being mass-produced in underground facilities worldwide. "We've modified the design based on your experience. Each chamber can support 1 human star connection." "But we need thousands," David objected. "We identified barely 200 candidates with the necessary neural compatibility." Tariq, still shaken from his near consumption, stepped forward. His literary expertise had found new purpose analyzing the weaver's collected memories. "The compatibility isn't rare, it's dormant. My analysis of the weaver's record suggests all humans have the potential. The capacity evolved specifically as defense against these predators." Kamau's neural mapping confirmed this hypothesis. "Certain meditation techniques activate the dormant pathways. We can accelerate the process pharmaceutically." Outside, artificial aurora rippled across daylight skies. The sun's corona had become visibly malformed to naked eyes, tendrils of darkness occasionally visible during sunset. Public panic had given way to something worse, resigned preparation for extinction. Alina studied the global map of volunteer centers. "We need to think bigger. Individual connections won't be enough. What about that moment when we combine our approaches against the Weaver?" Lucia suggested. "The coordinated unpredictability." "Scaled up how?" General Winters pressed. "We can't connect thousands of minds directly. The neural load would kill them." Hiroshi, silent until now, placed an ancient vinyl record on a turntable. Bach's Goldberg variations filled the room. "Music," he said simply. "Mathematical yet emotional. Structured yet infinitely interpretable." Alina's eyes widened. "Harmonics as neural synchronization framework. Stars communicate through oscillation patterns, essentially music at cosmic scale." The team mobilized with desperate urgency. As governmental structures struggled to maintain order, a different network emerged. Consciousness amplification chambers installed in repurposed concert halls, stadiums, places of worship. Volunteers by the thousands underwent accelerated training. Each human star connection formed a single note in an impossible symphony. The final piece came from an unexpected source. Colonel David Reyes, despite his initial skepticism, underwent testing. His strategic military mind formed unique defensive patterns when connected to stellar consciousness. "Battle tactics constantly adapt to enemy behavior," he explained. "Perfect unpredictability within strategic frameworks." 24 hours before projected solar failure, humanity launched its defense. Global communication networks broadcast a composition created by Lucia and Hiroshi, music designed specifically to synchronize human brainwaves while maintaining individual creative variation. 10,000 volunteers entered consciousness chambers simultaneously. Their minds, guided by the music, expanded beyond Earth to form a countering network to the Weavers. Alina, connected to the burning heart, served as the central node. Through her consciousness flowed thousands of human perspectives, linking to stars across the galaxy. The Void Weavers responded immediately, a massive coordinated attack targeting Earth's sun directly. Humanity felt it as a psychic shockwave. For a terrible moment, the sun's light dimmed worldwide. Then something unprecedented happened. Human creativity, multiplied through thousands of connections, generated defense patterns the weavers couldn't predict or consume. The counter-network stabilized, pushing back the consumption tendrils. But victory remained far from certain. Through their connection, Alina received a warning from the Burning Heart. This is merely their first wave. The Devourer of Worlds approaches. 1 year after first contact, Earth's skyline had transformed. Dreaming spires rose from every major city, elegant towers housing consciousness chambers, where volunteers rotated through 4-hour shifts, maintaining the stellar defense network. Alina stood atop the Santiago facility, watching the sunset. The sun's corona now displayed a visible iridescence, a side effect of human consciousness interfacing directly with stellar fusion. Astronomers called it the Guardian Aura. Neural integration levels still rising. Kama reported, joining her on the observation deck. His medical monitoring implant glowed softly beneath his skin. The human-stellar symbiosis is evolving. Below them, thousands of citizens went about their lives in a world fundamentally changed. Children born after first contact showed unprecedented neural development. Dreams filled with stellar languages before they learned to speak human ones. The latest defensive patterns deployed successfully, David said, approaching with Maya. His military uniform now bore the insignia of the Stellar Defense Command. We've reclaimed 3 systems in the Orion sector. Earth's initial defensive success had expanded into a coordinated campaign. Humanity's consciousness network now extended to over 4,000 star systems, with specialized teams developing increasingly sophisticated methods for purging void weavers from infected stars. The Burning Heart has confirmed something, Maya added, her quantum consciousness theories now established scientific fact. The stellar entities have begun incorporating human thought patterns into their fusion processes. They're changing too. Alina nodded, unsurprised. Her own transformation had progressed furthest. Her consciousness now existed partially within the Burning Heart itself, experiencing time at both human and stellar scales simultaneously. The observatory doors opened as Lucia, Alexander, and Hiroshi joined them. The original 7 remained connected in ways beyond normal human relationships, neural pathways permanently synchronized through their shared battles. The children's choirs are ready, Lucia announced. Her artistic abilities now manifested as pure neural architecture, creating defensive patterns through music that thousands of others could instantly adopt. Alexander's mechanical genius had resulted in improved amplification chamber design, allowing deeper stellar connection without physical strain. New spires operational on 6 continents, 97% coverage. Hiroshi, his consciousness now fluid between human and stellar states, simply nodded toward the horizon. It comes. They all felt it, the quantum disturbance spreading across the galaxy. The Devourer of Worlds had finally arrived. Monitoring stations worldwide registered the anomaly simultaneously, a massive void entity entering the Orc cloud, larger than anything they'd encountered. Not just a weaver, but something ancient and vast that consumed entire star clusters. Humanity's response was immediate and unified. The global network activated at full capacity, 10,000 minds connecting simultaneously to their stellar partners. Children's choirs in every time zone began singing the harmonic patterns that strengthened neural synchronization. Alina's consciousness expanded beyond Earth, beyond the solar system, uniting with the Burning Heart and thousands of other stars. Through this vast perspective, she perceived the true nature of the approaching entity, not just a predator, but a refugee. The thing fleeing from the galactic core was behind it, pushing the Devourer before it like a storm front. "It's running from extinction too," she whispered, understanding flowing through the network. In the chamber of the United Nations, representatives from Earth and stellar consciousnesses convened in humanity's first interstellar diplomatic session. The decision was unanimous. Offer sanctuary. not battle. As the devourer approached, humanity extended not weapons but understanding, a new defense pattern based not on opposition but integration. The mathematical equivalent of, "We see you, we understand, there's another way." The entity hesitated, ancient hunger wavering against something it had never encountered, empathy across species, across forms of existence itself. In orbit above Earth, a child born on first contact day looked upward and reached toward the stars, not with fear but recognition. The stellar network pulsed in response to her unconscious greeting. The universe had tried many evolutionary paths to protect itself from entropy and consumption. In humanity and stars together, it had finally found its answer. Separate forms of consciousness that, when united, created something greater than either alone. A new constellation was forming, not of stars in space, but minds across creation.